All right, Jules, let's try to imagine what Max Allegri is going to do here, right? We've seen Juve play 4-4-2. We've seen Juve play 4-3-3. I think longer term, with Vlahovic, given also that he's played on his own up front with two wingers, when Chiesa returns, but we're basically projecting the next season for that, it makes sense to come up with some kind of 4-3-3.
Yeah, I agree.
In the short term, though, am I right in thinking you would like to see Vlahovic with a strike partner or maybe somebody in behind?
I would love to see Vlahovic and Dybala together, I have to say. I think that it will need a bit of work. Why I would go 4-4-2 to start with is because I think he's just arrived at your club, put it in the best environment straight away. And by that I mean the more you can create for him, the more people you can have around him, the better. Instead of having a very minimalist approach to games offensively, like we've seen even recently against Milan, for example. I know he was away and the pitch was terrible, but still, where Vlahovic is going to have the ball 20 times in a game, not much to use in the box. I think put two wide players, put Dybala with him, and then make sure that he gets a lot of the ball that you play in the opposition's half. Do that instead of going 4-3-3, where he will feel a bit isolated maybe up front, and then already he's on the back foot from the get-go in his Juventus career.
When you say two wide players, though, the problem with this Juve team right now is if you're talking two wide players, with Chiesa out and with Kulusevski gone,
it's only Bernardeschi, basically.
You're talking Bernardeschi, Quadrado, maybe
Quadrado.
Or otherwise beyond that, you talk about putting Rabiot and McKennie wide, which isn't necessarily...
I know.
So it's a question of how the pieces fit together.
Exactly. So then my question to you on the back of this is, okay, who's going to create the chances for Vlahovic? How would now you approach and say, okay, we've got one of the most lethal strikers in Europe right now because he's so clinical. So we need chances. What do? You tell to Quadrado, hey, when you come back from Colombia, we need you to wipe this ball in all the time for Vlahovic. Who's going to create those chances for him?
I think that's a very, very fair question. I think with Zakaria in there, I think Locatelli will maybe be a little bit more free to invent, to find the balls, to make those runs. I think that's going to be pretty critical, running from deeper positions. Dybala and Morata, we get stuck a lot on positions and patterns of play. I genuinely don't know. I think the upside is Dybala and Morata, I think, are both very, very motivated. And I made the point last night on the FC shows, this is big because this is a big knock-on effect for those two, right? You're not, in some ways, Juventus were kind of over a barrel with Dybala in the sense that Dybala made the claim that, they had reached, or his agent said that, we had reached an agreement before Christmas to extend my contract, and it was going to be 8 million euros net plus 2 million euros, which, if you're keeping track at home, works out to something like 19 million euros a year, which I think is crazy money.
Yeah, it is.
For a guy who's 28 and who's, had his injury records and his ups and downs. Juventus said, no, let's wait. They were very clever to do so. Now, if I'm Juve, I can go to him and say, hey, Paulo, go ahead and knock around Europe. See if anybody will give you that money. Otherwise, if you want to stay here and make yourself useful, show us that you deserve this, and maybe we can extend your contract without giving you a raise because, frankly, you really probably don't deserve a raise, right? Yeah. And then you can play with Vlahovic. So you've got that leverage there. And if they lose them, fine. And you freed up a bunch of money that you can go and spend on somebody else. Morata is an interesting one because Morata's deal, if you'll recall, when they got him, he was an Atletico Madrid player. He still is an Atletico Madrid player. Yeah. They agreed a deal where they paid 10 million euros in loan fees for the first year, and then they extended it. So then they agreed to pay another 10 million euros in loan fees for the second year. And then if they want to make the deal permanent in June, they have to go and spend another 35 million. Morata's 29 years old. And there's two ways to look at it. Without Vlahovic, I think there would have been a lot of people internally, including Allegri, who say, well, hang on a minute. We've already spent 20 million on him. That's a sunk cost. And by the way, a 20 million loan fee over 2 years, or even 10 million a year, that's not a normal loan fee. That's that's a down payment, right?
Yeah, that's never been seen before.
And then what probably would have happened is they could have gone to Atletico Madrid. They could have tried to negotiate Atletico down from 35 million because his contract with Atleti expires in 2023. So Atleti would have an incentive to get something back. Also, what are they going to do with him? They've got Cunha and Griezmann.
Millions of strikers.
Strikers aren't an issue there. But still, then Juve would have had to extend Morata's contract. Morata is on substantial money as well. Now, they can pick and choose. They can only keep one of the two if they so choose. They can decide which one is best. I think Morata would make a great partner for Vlahovic.
More than Dybala, you think? You don't think they're too similar in a way?
No, I don't think they are similar. I think Morata's a far more, I don't want to say, I say unselfish in a good way. He's a more aware player.
Yeah.
I mean, Morata's the kind of player who coaches generally love because the only flaw is his finishing. Well, you've got Vlahovic to finish, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Again, if he's fit and he's motivated, you know what? Maybe it makes sense to dump both of them and go get somebody else next summer.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But the point is now, if you're Juve, you kind of have these options. And I'll tell you what else I think you get excited about if you're a Juve fan. After years of seeing this team get older and older and older, and all those years with Cristiano when they're like, oh yeah, let's add another old guy, final piece of the puzzle,
Experience. It was all about experience.
Yeah, and at the time maybe it made sense because
Yeah.
you have Cristiano Ronaldo, you have a window of opportunity. But now you look at this, and Vlahovic just turned 22. Moise Kean is 21.
Yeah.
You've got, I think, De Ligt is about the same age.
Yeah.
Locatelli's 24. Even Zakaria is 25.
Yeah.
And Zakaria, you're getting a guy who you're paying to get him early because the deal is 5 million euros plus up to 3 million euros in bonuses. From Gladbach's perspective, they're not going anywhere. They're not going to qualify for Europe this year. They're not going to get relegated. You'll take 5, possibly 8 now rather than nothing in the summer. But he can do so many things defensively.
Yeah, he's going to be brilliant for them.
He never scores, but he's so smart.
Yeah,
he's physical.
So,
you've got a core now. You can longer term. You've got issues, right? Longer term, you're going to need at least one other central defender. I think.
Yeah.
I think you're going to need help at the fullbacks. Alexandro's not getting any younger, and so on. But you have that nucleus now that you don't have, and I think there's also maybe a shift in the dressing room as well.
My issue right now is Allegri, to start with, because before I can understand that I'm coming back here. This is not really the team that I left or the team that I would like. I have to do with this. Okay, so don't start doing my head in about we're too defensive or with this or we can't defend the lead or we can't come back in a game if we go behind. Blah blah blah. Okay, now you've had 2 players that should change your way of approaching games and playing games, especially Vlahovic. So I don't want to see this anymore. I don't want to see this, let's sit back, let's defend, I'm happy with a 0-0 draw. Not with Vlahovic in your team, and even less with Zakaria in your team now. So I want him to show, okay, this is what we're going to do now, be on the front foot, be this, be that, like we explained before. So I think the pressure on Allegri is quite huge between now and the end of the season, because again, you don't spend 80 million on a player and don't qualify for the Champions League. This is not on. For the rest, I agree with you. I think even 2 weeks ago, no one would have thought they would have had this kind of transfer window. No. Really.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.